Our reproductive system is associated with the process of procreation, that is producing offsprings, and there are several steps involved in that. For example, production of gametes. So male produce sperm and female produce egg or ovum. The reproductive organs also secretes sexual hormones, for example, testosterone in men and estrogen and progesterone in women. Then it involves the fertilization, which is the union of sperm and egg to form the first cell called the zygote in the life of a person. The reproductive system also supports the embryonic development, nourishment, and protection of the growing embryo or fetus, and it also involves the delivery of baby and production of milk in females. The structure of male reproductive system includes testes, which are the main gonads where sperm are produced and testosterone is secreted. The sperms produced in the testes are stored in the structure called epididymis. From here, the sperm are transported through vas deferens to the urethra. As the sperm is traveling down these tubes to be ejected out of the body, it meets several glands which pour nutritive secretions into the semen. Ultimately, the sperm is poured into the urethra, which is a common duct for passing urine as well as semen in male. Spermatogenesis is the process of production of sperm in the seminiferous tubules of testes. The process of spermatogenesis begins at puberty and it continues throughout life. It basically involves cell division process, which is mitosis and meiosis, and ultimately the maturation of sperm, which is called spermiogenesis. In one cell division cycle, 4 haploid sperms are produced. Haploid means they have half the number of chromosomes as compared to the normal cells of a body. The production of sperm, or the process of spermatogenesis, is regulated by 2 very important hormones called follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone produced in the pituitary gland. Around the cells that can produce sperm by undergoing meiosis, there are some supporting cells called the Sertoli cells and Leydig cells, which provide nourishment as well as produce hormones for the proper development of sperm. The female reproductive system includes ovaries, which are the gonads in human female, and they produce egg or ovum and also secrete 2 very important hormones called estrogen and progesterone. From these ovaries, the ovum is transported into these tubes called the fallopian tubes or oviducts. Then the fertilization event happens in the fallopian tube. Otherwise, if the fertilization has not happened, the ovum travels down to the uterus, and uterus is the muscular organ that holds the growing embryo, and also the embryo implants in the wall of uterus. The last part of uterus is the cervix, which opens into vagina. Vagina is the muscular canal for receiving the sperm, and also the passage for childbirth as well as the menstrual flow. The process of formation of egg or ovum in female is called oogenesis. A female child at the time of birth has all the primary oocytes, and they are all arrested in the prophase 1. So they are in the process of undergoing meiosis, but they are just stuck in the prophase 1. At the time of puberty or the onset of menstrual cycle, one primary oocyte resumes its meiosis 1 inside the ovary, and after completion of meiosis 1, it produces one polar body and one secondary oocyte. This secondary oocyte is released into the fallopian tube at the time of ovulation, and the cells have started their second meiosis or meiosis 2, but are stuck in metaphase 2. If the event of fertilization happens and a sperm is encountered, then meiosis 2 is completed. It will lead to the formation of one polar body and one mature ovum. Then this mature ovum and the sperm that has come in will complete the process of fertilization, leading to the formation of zygote. But if no fertilization event happens, then this secondary oocyte degenerates without completing its meiosis 2. This process of oogenesis is regulated by follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone of pituitary gland. Now let's look at the hormonal regulation of the male and female gonads. In both male and female, the hypothalamus produces gonadotropin release hormone that influences pituitary. Pituitary then produces luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, both of which have important role in stimulating the gonad in male as well as in female. In male, the follicle stimulating hormone stimulates the Sertoli cells for spermatogenesis and stimulates Leydig cell for production of testosterone. In female, the follicle stimulating hormone stimulates follicle development in ovaries, and luteinizing hormone triggers the ovulation and corpus luteum formation. Now, what is corpus luteum? Corpus luteum is the follicle from which the secondary oocyte has been ovulated from the ovaries, and the secondary oocyte enters into the fallopian tube. So the structure, the degenerating structure that remains, is called the corpus luteum. So this corpus luteum plays an important role in switching the hormone production from estrogen to progesterone at the time of pregnancy, because at the time of pregnancy you would want the estrogen level to go down and progesterone levels to go up. So in male and in female, the stimulation of gonad causes the production of hormones. Testosterone in male supports the production of sperms and establishing secondary sex characters in male, which is deepening of voice, body hair, and they also exert a negative feedback on pituitary gland as well as the hypothalamus to stop the production of more hormones. In female, estrogen plays the role which is corresponding to testosterone, and progesterone is produced when you don't want estrogen levels to be high. You want estrogen level to be high when you're menstruating, but if pregnancy has established, then you would want estrogen level to go down and progesterone level to go up. So this progesterone is produced by this corpus luteum, which was the follicle that remains in the ovary after the secondary oocyte has ovulated into the fallopian tube. Let's discuss the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle is of 28-day period, and it has 4 main phases. The first phase of menstrual cycle is the menstrual phase, and it lasts for 1 to 5 days. During that time, in the uterus, the uterine lining are shedding off, leading to the release of blood from the body. At that time, the estrogen level and progesterone level are kind of low because the body is not really doing much. In ovaries, one follicle is becoming dominant and has started its development. During the follicular phase, the follicle stimulating hormone stimulates the growth of the follicle, leading it to become mature. And this is triggered because the follicle stimulating hormone has led to the increase of production of estrogen. And finally, this maturation of follicle is basically influenced by the estrogen hormone. In the uterus, this estrogen hormone is also inducing the repair of uterine wall or rebuilding of endometrial wall. Ovulation phase is triggered by the increase in level of luteinizing hormone. At this time, mature ovum is released from the ovary and it enters the fallopian tube. In luteal phase, we see that the follicle from which the this oocyte has been released, and this oocyte has been ovulated into the fallopian tube, the remaining follicle becomes corpus luteum. The corpus luteum can secrete progesterone, which would help in supporting pregnancy, and prepares the uterus for implantation. So that means in case the ovum, which is in the fallopian tube, encounters a sperm, then the body should be ready for pregnancy. But if no fertilization happens, then the progesterone level goes down and menstrual cycle then begins again. The event of fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube, where the ovum is present and the sperm meets the ovum. Fusion of these two gametes lead to the formation of first cell of a human life, which is called the zygote. And because both the gametes bring half the number of chromosomes, this zygote becomes diploid. Then zygote undergoes many cleavages or cell division, lead to the formation of a ball-like structure called morula, which then starts differentiating into different germ layers. In the blastula, we can see the formation of some outer layer of cells that can lead to implantation or formation or the start of formation of placenta in the uterine wall. The blastocyst that has been implanted into the uterine wall then starts forming human chorionic gonadotropin hormone. So what this hormone does is it will prevent the degradation or disintegration of corpus luteum, which is right now in the ovary. So the purpose is the corpus luteum then increases the production of progesterone, a hormone which is important for pregnancy. After the implantation, the gastrula is formed from blastula, and this gastrula undergoes the formation of germ layer, in which we get the ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, and these germ layers are then able to start forming the embryo and organs and different types of tissues in the growing embryo. The pregnancy lasts for about 40 weeks. Between the mother and the fetus, placenta is the main conduit for exchange of nutrients and removal of waste. The fetal development happens during the pregnancy, and the fetus is undergoing maturation of different organs. Once the organs are mature enough and the fetus has developed, a very important hormone called oxytocin is released from pituitary gland. This hormone leads to uterine wall contraction and induces labor. That means the body is ready for the childbirth. The childbirth involves dilation of cervix, expulsion of baby, and delivery of placenta. Several different kinds of contraceptive methods can be used to avoid pregnancy, such as physical contraceptives, for example, condoms, diaphragm, or cervical caps that prevents the sperm from reaching the egg, or hormonal methods in the form of birth control pills, patches, injections, or hormonal intrauterine devices that inhibits ovulation and alters uterine lining. And it's important to note that IUDs may also prevent fertilization and implantation. Surgical methods such as vasectomy in male or tubal ligation in female can be used to permanently block gamete transport. Common disorders related to the reproductive system are polycystic ovary syndrome or PCOS in female, which is associated with hormone imbalance, irregular menstrual cycle, or cyst in the ovaries; endometriosis, which is associated with uterine lining or the tissue growth outside of uterus, which is a painful condition leading to infertility; and infertility in general, which results from the ovulatory or hormonal or any structural issues. In male, common conditions are erectile dysfunction, which is the inability to maintain an erection during intercourse; low sperm count, which affects fertility, and it might be because of hormonal, environmental, or some genetic factors; and prostatitis, which is the inflammation of prostate gland. It's a painful condition and makes it hard to pass urine as well.